Yeah. I can't. No fevers. I see your story. But yeah, I mean, really the best thing would be for you to right in a big movie. What did you try to do? 20.
So there's a lot of things that I've always really on my life, and we're still, so I had a bunch of trips.
Wednesdays.
Oh, yeah.
That's a great one. Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and start. That clock's a little bit slow. So we're going to call to order the meeting of the Virginia-Highland Civic Association Board on the December meeting. And we have an agenda that's in chairs and it was sent out to the board. I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved and passed. And then we have, basically we'll start with police officers. We have Officer Moss here. He's a resource officer at Inman Middle School. So we're glad to have you here to talk about what's going on at Inman and what you do there. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for having me. Once again, I'm Officer Moss. I'm the school resource officer at Inman Middle School. I'm a part of the school detectives unit of the Atlanta Police Department. Excited about being over there. I love the community. I love the people. I love the students there. If you all ever have any questions, concerns, or comments, you all can always contact me at the school. I also have still have my city email address. It's my full name. If you want to write this down, you can. It's Raymond, R-A-Y-M-O-N-D, Moss, M-O-S-S. You can contact me anytime, you have a question or concern about, the school or whatever, and, I'll make sure I get back with you, and, we can discuss the matter.
The MOSS at atlanta.ga.gov.
Yes, ma'am. That's it.
Now, we talked about too a little bit that he would be reviewing the new plans for Inman Middle School and doing security assessment and all that. So I mentioned that there were quite a few people here on the board that are watching that, and we'll be glad to know that you're looking at the security standpoint and all those plans come to fruition. What are your hours at the school?
I'm there from 8:30 to 4:30. There before the kids get there, and I'm there after the kids leave. Usually I stay longer than 4:30 because I'll be having a lot of paperwork to do. But like I said, anytime you all want to contact me, I'm always there.
In the morning, are you outside assisting or looking at drop-off and helping monitor those issues, or is there another officer that handles the traffic and drop-off issues in the morning?
I'm the only officer there.
Okay.
I have all that responsibility. I try to be outside, directing traffic, helping the kids cross the crosswalk in the morning time, but sometimes stuff happens in the school, on the school bus, and I gotta respond to it. Once again, I'm the only officer there, so all those kids, one officer is kind of a challenge, but I get stuff done.
Any other questions?
Yes,
How
ma'am.
many years have you been with the police department?
4 years. 4 years.
Thank you, Officer Moss.
No problem. Since I won't see you all again, well, if you drop your kids off at Inman, I will see you all. But if not, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I wanted to go through too, and I noticed who is here from the board. We have John Becker, Peggy Bird, David Brandenberger. Suzanne Buck is absent with notice. Myself, Wilbur Carlisle, Jenny Ferreira, Paige Huell, Jennifer Keenan, Colleen Lyson, Jack White is absent with notice. Lauren Wilkes Fralick is absent and may come in late. And Jess Windham is here. So if there are no other city officials, next on the agenda is the planning committee, and Jess Windham will start, and on the agenda we have the order of the cases that we're taking a look at.
Yeah, so first we'll do B13-238. This is 990 Bellevue Drive. Applicants Ed McRae and Woodley York are variance for the side yard setback, the front yard setback for a rear addition, and a front entry modification. Do you guys
So,
want to talk
Ed,
about that?
yeah, if you'll come up and,
Sure.
tell everyone on the board and the audience what you're doing.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here. Appreciate all the volunteer work y'all do. I was chairman at BBY for about 5 years, so I know the system, and I appreciate all the work you do with it. I bought a legal duplex at 990 Bellevue Drive. It's about 1,300 square feet with no garage. And after going over there and getting ready to rent everything as an investment, decided it was kind of a nice place to live maybe, and so I started toying with the idea of tearing it out inside, making a single-family residence out of it for myself, and adding a two-car garage onto the back of it. So I went down to the city and proposed to add a two-car garage on the back, which would reduce the rear yard setback from required 15 feet to 3 feet, and to memorialize what an existing encroachment in the front setback that I'm not changing, but it's when we started looking at the site plan that I had done, the city told me that it encroached about 3 feet in the front setback. So I'm going to memorialize that and then provide for the two-car garage in the back. There's an alley down the side here, and there's parking back here for residents across the street from San Francisco Coffee that on Highland, so there's really not a unit building close to it, but still it does exceed the rear, encroaching the rear yard setback, so requesting variance to do that. There is one 10-inch oak that will come down, no other trees will be removed.
What's the current zoning?
I beg your pardon?
What's the current zoning?
R4.
And then, can you report on the site visit, Jess, anything in particular?
So your 2 trees are in the buildable area and will be taken down?
Actually, it's one. Yeah, I missed that originally.
Does the plan show that the tree is going to be taken out?
Yes, this tree right here,
Okay.
that's about a foot from the foundation, so
Yeah.
no way to say it.
And I was on the site visit, and everything looked good. It's, we appreciate the house remaining, we're going from what it was, just single family, and the lot coverage is below 50%, and we're staying 1 story, a small home there. So unless there are any other questions, I would move to approve B13-238, conditioned on the site plan, which is stamped and dated November 5th, 2013.
Can I ask a question? How do you plan to replace the inches of the trees that we will lose? Are you going to plant more trees
The
with that
10-inch
10-inch
tree?
oak that you're going to take down?
Yeah, there's very little landscaping on the site as it is, so I'm planning on redoing, hiring a landscape architect to install trees and
Will
shrubs.
the arborist make you replace that tree?
I believe it's,
It's in the buildable area, so it is not one that is where they are required to replace the tree.
Well, no, not if it's in the setback.
If it's in the buildable area, then they're not required to do that.
That's not in the setback?
My understanding is that, Wendy, do you have any?
The setback that is not buildable in there without a variance.
So,
well, I have no problem replacing the tree or the caliper inches.
do you want to, does anyone want to add an amendment to this, or a request that you would replace, or are you willing to say you would replace that?
Just 10 inches of caliper.
Okay.
Good.
So, then I'll make an amendment to the motion that the applicant has agreed to replace the 10 inches of, basically the 10-inch caliper that is being lost on the property.
Could I ask you to add that the inches that are replaced are overstory trees as opposed to dogwoods or crepe myrtles?
I don't think I need to defer to you on what you want to request.
I mean, you're taking down an oak, which is a canopy tree. So what we want to do is we want to keep, keep the canopy going because of all the reasons that we have canopy trees and all the value of canopy trees. So, of course, they're small. You can't put in a tree probably more than 2.5-inch caliper. So it's small for you and it won't really, by the time it's big, I mean, we'll all be gone.
Well, let me ask you this, is it, and I'm used to doing development where we're doing caliper inch per caliper inch, but if we only did, I mean, we're gonna have to put in like 4 2.5-inch?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, if you're taking down 10 inches and you're willing to put 10 inches back, that's great.
Well, I mean, would you consider too a combination of something that would replace that one, a canopy tree as well as a.
Yeah, I'm just looking, the reason I was asking the question is, I've got a little bitty tiny lot, and this guy over here's already got trees along this property line, so there's just not a lot of room for, and I could probably put, well, I was thinking I could probably put one more along the side over here, but if we could have a combination of the two.
Well, you know, Mr. Mobley down there in the arborist department should be able to help you in terms of selection of tree species. I mean, he's real good about that, and if there literally is no room, then you should not put a tree there. But I think that it would be really good if you didn't put the tree back there, if you put some inches on there, and then maybe, I don't know, if you have trees on your, in the sidewalk, maybe you could, I don't know if there's, I can't remember if there are trees there on your green space, but you could maybe put some trees there.
Yeah.
So, it sounds to me like it would be, the motion would be to replace, with the inches that you're looking to replace that many inches, one of them being a canopy tree, at least one of them being a canopy tree and the others of your choice.
Yeah,
I
that
think
sounds
that's
fair.
Okay, so that's the amendment to the motion. Okay.
That's good.
Super.
All in favor? It passes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks so much, guys. I guess next week it's over at Hillside.
Yeah, Hillside.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So next we'll do B13 243 and 670 Park Drive. The permit second flood is seeking variance from the regulations to reduce the north side yard setback from 7 feet to 2 feet 6 inches for the construction of a second floor and the new attached garage.
And Barry is here to discuss the project with us.
Here's a revised site plan. If you look in there. Well, this is we got the stamped version today. Do I give that to you guys, or I take that to the MPO?
Is that your only copy?
I've got one in the office.
If you would give it to us, that would be great. We've got one in the office. Thank you.
And these aren't great photos, but they do give you a sense of what the existing structure looks like. There, there's a few copies there. And then lastly,
Yeah, okay.
plan copies for those who haven't seen them there. For the site plan, what our intentions are is to build a second-story renovation or second-story addition onto the existing footprint. Doing that, as you can see from the property line, automatically makes us non-conforming. And then on top of that, we want to build a drive-under garage with a screen porch on top. That's the dash lines that are off the back. It's a small portion of that that is also encroaching on the property line. So the 2'6" basically is how close the existing house is to the property line. So that's where we got the 2'6". There's one tree impacted on the back. We're also taking, although we are adding impervious surface, we are taking out a portion of the driveway that's noted on the site plan where it says remove low brick wall and concrete pad.
Can you, maybe go ahead over the lot coverage and FAR that's on here?
Yeah, sure. Okay, currently the lot coverage is 38.6. That's broken down there on the right-hand side. The new lot coverage, the house, the porch, the steps stays the same. The driveway gets modified because we're adding some, we're also taking off some. And then there's the new garage, screen porch deck, that's the 719 feet. So to clarify, the new driveway is 1,712 square feet, but we're taking off 240 of that. That's the concrete pad that's being taken out for the wall.
Okay.
So the net coverage is now 4466 or 45.6%. The floor area ratio, we're basically doubling the square footage of the heated space. That still puts it at 39%. And then the height is average 32 feet. It's listed down there at the bottom of that box.
I have a question on, I know that you've noted, and we have the stamped plans here, that basically the new watershed ordinance that's coming into play, if you add over 1,000 square feet, you need to capture the water, the increase in water that is coming off the property. They're not adding more than 1,000 square feet, but we did ask them because basically it's a lot that goes back and then drops off maybe 20, 25 feet buried. Straight down to houses that are back behind. So we requested that he would consider doing a collection of rainwater, even though it's not required with the square footage that he's doing, and plantings to capture the water as it's running off the back. So he's noted that on here, and to just call attention to that. Is there, it would be nice, I think, if you would talk about the quantity, the amount of water that you're going to capture in a little bit more detail on the plantings that you're going to do. Have you taken that into consideration? Have you made a plan yet?
Not since last Monday, no. I mean, I've got there's a whole other landscaping component that we haven't considered yet, and I want to take that into consideration of looking at how to manage that. I really wasn't prepared to commit to, X number of, it's measured by gallons. X number of gallons would be captured by the rainwater system, because they don't know how much the groundwater, the ground cover, the root-based ground cover would help with that. So I wasn't really prepared to make a commitment of X number of gallons to be collected. Just figured the combination of the two. If it was a commitment on our part to address it through that combination, that's kind of what I wanted to commit to.
Yeah, for us, I mean, and again, this is just something that we would ask you to look into, but for us, without numbers to it, it's a little bit more in a situation of limbo. I mean, it is noted here, and we appreciate that, but a little bit more specifics are helpful in the process. So that's just where I'm going with this now. And I would want to see that we get a copy of this from the city, because this is a note on here, and I just want to ensure that that's something that the city is on the ones filed with the city.
Yeah, well, one that would stand.
Right. Right. So if we can maybe get it electronically from the city, well, I'll check in with Debbie on that.
I mean, I could get it, I don't know if this addresses it, but, I mean, I can have the copy, electronic, I can have it electronically copied by action printing and send that to you.
Oh, well, I'm able to do that too.
Okay.
It's, again, it's not clear that this is actually what's filed with the city unless I receive it back from them
Oh.
because
Okay.
it's a handwritten note on the file. Not that I don't believe
Fine.
you. Just that it would be
No, I
nice to
got
get
it.
that
Sure.
via email
Mhm.
from the city.
Okay.
Does anyone else have any questions about, do you have any comments about the site review?
I think, so it looks like there are other trees in the backyard. Would you need to like protect them during the construction phase, just to make sure they don't get?
That'd be part of the permitting process. They would we would have to stipulate on the permit set, orange fencing around those trees. Yeah.
And I think from our site visit, there's, besides the tree that's coming out that's in the buildable area, not in the setback, there's one tree that's affected. It's about 20% of the canopy overhangs the back addition. So that one I know they'll give you protection prescription for. You see that one, the 12-inch, is it hardwood?
Yeah, I don't know if 20% is encroached, but yeah, we would definitely want to we'd want to do that just to keep really our guys away from the trees.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that's a sort of, that's a standard thing we would do anyway, but the city's going to require that. We'd have to have that on the permit set.
Any other questions? I'm ready to make a motion.
So what is the total tree loss, even in the buildable area? What's the total tree loss?
It's a, let me see if the caliper inches there. A lot of that there. I think that's a 16-inch hardwood.
And on the property, there's also a 12-inch hardwood, a 15-inch hardwood, 14-inch hardwood,
34-inch hardwood, 6-inch hardwood. There's a lot of hardwood.
Right, and in the front, there's a 13-foot magnolia, 13-inch magnolia, and
So my question is, what's the total inch of tree loss?
that's what he gave.
16 inches. One tree. It's one tree here.
Yes, ma'am.
How much?
16 inches. One
16 total?
One tree, 16 inches.
Oh, okay.
Right, so, I'd like to make a motion
We
to
got
approve. I'm sorry.
If water retention is going to be included when it gets to the MDU, then maybe you could have a figure by that time so that the motion will be clear, you know, what we're requesting to the BZA.
Right, I was gonna, make the motion condition on this site plan with the notation of rainwater collection and what's noted here. Now, Mary, are you willing to, between now and the MPU time, to add basically the amount of gallons that you would try to capture as far as water? And we talked
Yeah.
about the calculation, what it usually, there's a measure, a calculation that is.
Well, I was going to call Chip about that, I just haven't had the chance to. I guess the short answer is yes. The thing that was a little bit, I don't know what the relationship is between, my understanding was it's the difference between the old and the new times 0.6,
That's right.
which comes out to be about 600 gallons. So if I'm understanding that correctly.
It doesn't seem like what it would be to me based on, because it's the,
I'm sorry,
not
that's-
the FAR, yeah, it's the
Yeah,
new
it's
lot
about-
coverage.
Well, it's a 700 square foot difference, so it'd be 420 gallons.
Okay,
So I just don't know what that equates to.
okay.
I don't know how many rain barrels how large the barrels are, what that equates to. So yeah, I think between now and next week, I can look at what it would take to handle that much.
Mhm.
And if there's any statistics on, well, this amount of root-based ground cover can handle this many gallons, yeah, I'd be willing to do that.
Yeah, and we don't usually require that you tell us exactly, how you're doing. It's just the amount that you're going to capture that we note on here, so you still would have time to work with them to decide, whether it's barrels or some sort of underground
Well, that's true, yes. In fact, I said water collection system because I wasn't completely sure that it would all be rain barrels. So yes, I'd be willing to do that.
Okay. Okay, so then, unless there are other questions, which can happen after this motion as well, but I'll make a motion to approve B13-243 based on the site plan stamped and dated December 9th, 2013, on the condition that the rainwater collection is quantified and on the next set of plans we receive, and also that the notation remains that you will do root bed, ground cover to also help with the runoff on the back side of the property. I think that's all.
Second.
Any other questions? All in favor? Passed, and we'll just get with you, as soon as you have any of that, send us, the plans, and we'll talk about, and you can get with Chip too.
I'll re-clarify that with him, and that would also need to be stamped, correct? Okay,
Another trip, sorry. Thank you.
that's fine.
And, you ready to move on to the next one?
So this one is B13-247. This is 906 Highland Terrace. Applicant Jennifer Budson's experience for zoning regulations to reduce the east side yard setback from 7 feet to 0.3 feet for a new carport in the rear yard of a single family. No trees impacted. Utilizing one side of an existing granite structure. You want to tell us more about it?
This is, getting more photos. Those are photos of the existing structures. You don't get it from just the site plan, what it really is. And then here are copies of the site plan. And lastly, a portion of this plan shows the proposed carport. So you can kind of get a sense of how the carport's going to be utilizing the granite, a portion of that granite structure. So the intention is to demolish most of that granite structure that you see. It was constructed originally by the previous homeowner with the intention of having it be a living quarters, but she didn't get that far. And so we want to tear it down and retain, on the first page on the right-hand side of that picture, you can sort of see, it's not a great picture, but you can see a section of that granite structure. It's got a seam through it. You can almost see where it would be, the portion that would be removed and the portion that would stay. So what we're doing is we're taking that right-hand side portion of the structure and having that serve as the basis for a 6x6 post on the right and then a full 6x6 post on the left with a low slope cover. And the intention behind that cover was to really keep well, first of all, the water will shed away from the next door neighbor. There's really no maintenance involved, so we were, sort of looking to get around the concern about 3-foot access. Because there's really no need for access given the way that it's going to be structured. But obviously we need the variance because it's right on the property line.
So it is, there are pictures that are going around, it is a little interesting, the structure that's on the back. On the site visit, so basically we noticed, it's a stone wall, which, creates its own firewall. So some of the reasons for not building it close to the property line are addressed for that reason. It's a stone mountain stone that it's made of. also it's already there, so he's gonna add on to that. It enables him to have this driveway go straight back and not have to curve around and create more lot coverage. So we can go, the car can go right into that carport or the garage. And again, there were no trees impacted. The lot is very deep and vegetated. So as far as, even though we're fine on lot coverage and all of that, there were no issues or concerns with watershed here. It's kind of sloped and I think it grades down a couple of times.
It's
but-
terraced, yeah, there's 2 terraces below this, where there's actually flat big ground with ground cover.
And as far as letters, we had all of those, and the person who lives next door actually, he owns this.
Person on the left-hand side we have a letter from him supporting the structure. The person on the right owns this house. So the person on the side where that granite structure is, whose property is adjacent to it, owns both properties.
So, does anybody have any other questions on this project?
Do you have any plans for the granite that would be removed?
Right now, we'll use as much as we can for backfill, because there's like really a cavity sort of inside this stone building. So we'll use as much as we can there, and then we'll carve the rest away. Well, we'll also utilize some of it for the front. We've got to do some work on the front, and we'll utilize some of the granite for that.
Any other questions?
Are there any trees impacted in this?
No, ma'am.
Since your client owns the property to the right as well, has, I'm assuming he or she considered granting an easement for access purposes down the road in case they sell this property off?
It hasn't come up. Again, I don't think you would need it. But, you know, I guess I suppose that's something that could come up from a potential buyer.
Right.
Yeah, and certainly, they would do it if it was in the way of selling the house.
Both of the architects that, on the planning committee that were there basically felt that the wall's already there and it being a stone wall. I mean, we have done that in the past. We've done a condition or asked that an easement be granted. But in this case, with the way that this is built, there's not very much potential for a need to maintain it. It's, you know, it's rock and it's just, shouldn't be need for that. So they didn't feel that was something we should put in.
It's also not it's not a gabled carport where you'd actually have water coming off the roof onto the next door neighbor. That was another consideration.
Okay, so we're going to make a motion to approve B13-247 based on the site plan stamped and dated 11/13/2013. I do not think there were any conditions that we need to put on that. Second. All in favor? So we're recommending approval. Jennifer. Right? Thank you.
Thank you.
The next one.
Oh,
We're looking at B13-256, it's 932 Highland View. The request is to reduce the front yard setback, the west side yard setback, front half yard setback. I think that was it. There was a fence, but y'all can.
Yeah, that was denied last meeting. So, I'm Kashi, for those of you that were not at the last meeting. I'm not the actual owner of the house yet, but I'm under contract and supposed to close next week, so I'm excited about moving in the neighborhood. Actually, I know the guy that's up on the next variance, he's the neighbor, so that's kind of one of the reasons I'm moving in, friend of mine. So I originally I guess when I purchased the house, the plan was to do a renovation, similar to kind of like what he was planning on doing. And so, kind of after going under, contract doing the due diligence, we were just trying to figure out like what it was going to be from a cost perspective, and then had some people come look at like the foundation and everything, and the house, the condition it is was just a lot more work as far as even structurally to reinforce it to have a second story and everything. So we ended up working with Levi here, the architect, and we kind of came up with a plan of basically, removing the house and putting a new house. And some of the advantages of doing that is there's an existing little detached garage on the back lot line there, and there's like a driveway going to it. The actual garage is in terrible shape. Like it's like the way there's like kind of ground up on the side of it, so it's kind of rotting on the inside and everything. So, we looked at it originally just trying to make that a 2-car garage, and then it was just going to create more lot coverage. So we ended up kind of coming up so that, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Todd Road, how it kind of it's a downward slope. So the plan is to do a basement, like a drive-under garage right there towards the front, because it's going to fit naturally with the slope of the street. And so we're going to be removing the accessory in the back and that existing driveway there. And the footprint, as you can see, isn't very much different. It's maybe like on some areas it's like a foot or half a foot over. The front is going to stay the exact same. The only reason we're asking for it is just because we need to have it because it's beyond 35 feet. And
You got a garage, foundation underneath the porch.
correct.
So it's an existing porch,
It's existing.
and the encroachment is putting a garage
We
on
took
the
the
existing.
line of the existing porch that we're gonna demo, and then we're rebuilding up to the same line. And then the garage will be underneath the porch.
So to give a little bit more detail on the site visit, I'm not sure if you mentioned this, but this is one of the lots, as well as the one next to it. It's a very small lot for Virginia-Highland, so it's 39 feet
Yes.
wide by 116 feet deep. So also, the house, as he mentioned, the condition of the house, it really is. It's a good candidate for a tear down and a rebuild. Unfortunately, it just hasn't been maintained very well. And I think I know you're planning to keep, there are no trees that are coming down, although some of them
Right.
are already impacted by the development that's there. So a tree prescription by the arborist
Yeah.
will be provided to you you're going to try to protect those as much as you can. But there's concrete going over the root system and all that. But
Right. Yeah, the only two that, like I said, were the ones that, those two by that existing driveway. So like I said, we're gonna, once we go through the process, the arborist will give his recommendation on how to preserve that. But yeah, as far as anything else, the only one it says right there, it says existing to be replanted, where the new driveway, it's like a little sapling, it's about 2 inches, I mean, it's not, so that's where the new driveway is gonna be. There's no trees impacted.
So
If you guys want, we have the elevation too, so I'll help. I'll give you guys an idea of
what is the height going to be in your new height?
We didn't, I think we're.
It'll comply with
It's like-
the under 35
I
feet.
think it's 20 something, right, 25, 26,
Yeah,
so,
so
but just if you guys wanted to see what, so the road kind of slopes down like that, so this will be just, it's almost at, street level at that point.
So,
What's the
and
square
I
footage
did,
of the new house?
It's, right now, it's 2298
what were you asking? I'm
square
sorry.
I
footage.
just asked the square footage.
The farm, yeah.
And one of the things that, probably, can you explain how the wall works here at the entrance to the garage?
Yeah, do you want to talk about that, Levi? So
Yeah, so there's existing kind of stone retaining wall there, so we try to match that character and turn it back to retain the ground on each side of the new driveway here and here. So kind of keep that same character of what's going on the street,
And we're just gonna cut it in, so.
cut it in, and then, okay. Including like the large square, kind of like block corner elements that we have to use those. Kind of keep that same character of what's going on the street.
And this line here, I'm sorry, is that the wall or that's?
The wall is here, and then it's broken from here to here.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Okay.
Does the garage not need to be included in the square footage
It does
calculation
not,
because
no.
it's sub?
Yes, and the garage doesn't count for 4-year ratio.
Oh, it doesn't?
Yeah, even if it was detached, it doesn't.
Even for percentage lot coverage, it doesn't count?
For lot coverage, it does, but because
Oh,
it's
because
underneath,
it's fine.
it's
Okay.
included in what's there. in this.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think we're at 48.3 in our lot coverage.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. One of the things we mentioned when we were there, I probably want to put it as a condition, is to be sure that when you're, when you cut this wall here, that you look at angles for when you're backing out. Actually, Barry did this on a property that he has, so that it doesn't just come straight and go straight in, that you have an angle here.
Yeah.
So that people can see the rear of your car as you're coming
Back
out.
on.
I mean, we all have, most of us have the beepers now, but still.
No, yeah.
Sure.
I think it'll look better and everything better, so.
Okay. So, are there any other questions? I'll make a motion if not. So for B13-256, we move to approve, wait, I have to look at this motion. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the variance application portions 1, 2, and 3, dealing with the setback reductions, and based on the site plan stamped and dated November 20th, and disapproving the variance to build the 6-foot fence.
I'm sorry, could you, so it's
yeah,
a
no.
motion to approve variance application for sections 1, 2, and 3, but to disapprove which?
A variance, it was portion 4, to build a 6-foot fence.
And I'd like to add the condition that when the entrance to the garage is cut, that you angle the wall construction in so that there's a line of sight for backing out. And we had all of that. I'll just take on every case tonight, we had all of them, so sorry I haven't mentioned them.
Except for the last one.
Oh, yours has a few exceptions.
You don't have to have the letters supposed to by chance, do you?
Me, I have the notifications.
You do, can I see it really quickly? I think I wrote down the wrong date. So I have December 20th.
And did we do a conditional site plan? Did we condition on a site plan?
Yes.
Stamped and dated November 20th.
Oh. I think that's it, unless anybody, we need a second, and if there's any other questions.
So, correct. Any questions?
All in favor? Thank you.
So now we'll do B13-257, that's next door, 926 Highland View.
Your name, please?
Neil Gillespie, this is my wife Rachel. We are the owner occupants of that. Yeah, so I wasn't able to make the meeting last week. Unfortunately, I was in Cleveland, Ohio. Is this one for me? Okay. So what was reported back was we needed to amend the site plan and do so at the city, which we have yet to do. But what you have in front of you has the numbers broken out as I believe was requested last meeting. So this is mostly for the lot coverage. We're seeking greater than 50%. We are currently at 54.9, going to 55.9. For the most part, the project summary is a second-story addition with an attached garage in the rear. The attached garage is going to basically go where we park cars today. So the reason the lot coverage isn't really increasing by adding a garage is because we are counting the existing driveway, and we're building the garage there. But there will be a slight addition out back where the garage is not, accounting for the 1%. We also, I have the, so I've lived there since, we've lived there since 2010, and so I was kind of trying to be more personal and telling the neighbors my plans, and I was successful in all but one. I just could not catch the neighbors behind me at home, so I have proof of mailing, and here are the email replies, because I went ahead and sent them copies electronically along with the rest.
Do you have copies of these or not?
I can print more, that's,
Oh, this, yeah, you can print more. Do you have a copy of this one?
no.
Okay, so we'll note this, and then you'll just need to bring a copy back of that, and we'll hold on to these stuff.
Okay. So to summarize, the goal is to keep the house very similar from the road and build out in the rear because we have alley access behind the house, and to build on the existing structure so that the house is within the front, or yeah, actually the front and side setbacks. So we are asking for a variance to those 3 setbacks as well as lot coverage.
And I'll just mention again that this is another lot where it's 37.5 feet across the front and 112 along the side, whereas typically they're 50 to 150. So another very small lot. So it's, and in some cases a hardship is mentioned where it's not really a hardship, and these are truly hardships.
What I have to note is we did calculate the runoff adage and what we need to bring us to 50%.
Yeah, so we are increasing, we are currently at basically 55 going to 56. My plan, but not noted, is to replace the driveway in the rear with what the city deems permeable. However, I don't know how much this might cost me or when that'll be done. So my plan is to capture all the rainwater equivalent to take me down to 50%, which would be a 6% increase from today. Or 6% lot coverage improvement by rainwater. And that would be, as noted, 165 gallons captured, or capacity.
And right now, the city doesn't count, even if a paper is called permeable, they don't count it. We have in the past kind of.
Yeah, but in there,
The guidelines, it does.
as long as you have like a stone layer, like it's like if you put pea gravel and you have like a stone base, it'll count. If you just do permeable pavers, you're right, it doesn't count, but if you do that, but either way, it's not part of, yeah, no.
But since it's not part of this, and so it's not noted on here, and that's where you're capturing the increase in water from the 50% to the 55.9%. And, okay. Are there, the site visit, there are no trees being taken down here. There were some that will probably need a tree prescription.
Yeah, we need the arborist to come out. I don't, there was an arborist that came to take down the big tree across the street. It was marked, and then you could walk by and you can see it. I guess it was rotting from the inside, but I forgot what they called that.
The double strip.
I don't know, but it's, yeah, the strip, street side from the sidewalk.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we had them, the arborists come back and look, and you see there are trees. There's a big one in the back that I'm kind of designed around trying to make sure we can save. It's a large tree. All 3 of them are pecans. But I need to get an arborist to really come look at it, because these 2 on the side, the arborist described them as, especially the frontmost one, is having extreme phototropism. It's leaning to try and get light because the large tree in the back is taking most of the light. So the arborist said it could be healthy, but as it continues to lean, it's depending on the weight and the fact that it's a pecan tree, so it carries a lot of weight, it could be deemed a risk of falling. But either way, we haven't had an official site visit, so we'll pen all that. But my goal is to save those trees because part of it is going to be a screened-in porch above that attached garage with an open area. And it would just be a lot nicer with a lot of natural shade and the way it is today.
And you've indicated you plan to plant a new tree also.
Yeah, so on the front side is a pretty extreme slope, so I'm trying to really foster ivy to fill in and kind of terrace it with just some stone and amateur, but we're doing all right on one side, but the other side does not have enough shade to really support. So I want to plant a maple, more street side that'll give me shade for my ivy. And we planted two in that, whatever it is between the, I say we, but trees and land. We'll put two.
You may want, and when you, since you're talking to an arborist, and Stephanie may even have something to add about the tree in the front, just make sure you pick the right tree.
No, yeah.
When you pick the wrong type, you end up with damage to your walls, and the root systems can cause trouble. So just make sure you get the right tree for that spot.
Yeah. So I've,
Well, it looks to me like these trees are boundary trees. Did the arborist not talk to you about that?
it wasn't an official visit.
Okay, okay, well, it looks, if they're boundary trees, what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to, and you think that you might lose them, you're gonna have to talk with your next door neighbor, and I guess that's there.
Yeah, of
That would
course.
have to be worked out.
Yeah.
Are you here to speak? We'll finish up this case and let you. Are you here to speak to the Civic Association?
I am.
Okay, great. We're just in the middle of one case, and then we'll, if you have a minute, if you could wait for just a moment. that
I
would be
do
great.
have a minute.
Thank you.
So, and I was, Lola was kind enough to call me to remind me what I needed today, because I missed the previous meeting. And so, we've got the neighbors, now what I need is to actually amend my site plan that shows the actual water capacity we plan to retain. So,
But you have it noted on here, so you need to go down to the city and have these details stamped and dated by the city.
okay.
And then if you can have them sent to us electronically before.
Tell the city to send something directly to
I
you?
don't know if they'll send anything directly to us. So you just talk to them and make sure that you send it to us electronically. And we get hard copy plans. Debbie's just been sends them to us. And we do like to, you'll have it in hand, just let me know. Just talk to me
Yeah, okay.
after you get out of the city.
Okay, so the plan is for tomorrow, so it'll be stamped and scan it in and send you a copy?
Mhm.
Okay, I can do
Yeah,
that.
if you can scan it in,
Of
that would
course.
be great. Are there any other questions? Get ready to make a motion. You want to make a motion?
Sure. Motion to approve B13-257, conditioned on corrected site plan provided and stamped and dated by the city that reflects the lot coverage, including the driveway, and the capture of 165 gallons of permanent water retainage on.
And we're not missing any letters now?
I don't have addresses associated with these
Oh.
emails, so we could maybe put that together. For MPU, if you could just have his names corresponding with addresses.
Okay,
That's fine.
okay.
Okay. I think that's all of the motions.
Second?
Any other comments or questions? All in favor? Great,
Thank you.
thank you.
One real quick
John,
thing.
you second?
Hey, Rick. If we can, I can contact you afterwards, but about the city sidewalks, I don't know if you remember, I was trying to coordinate to get the sidewalks fixed for both neighbors on each side. And I got one, Highland View, and I think the guy who's selling the house to him probably wrote you a nasty email or called you. Is it possible, if he's willing, to get in on that bundle for his section? Once he owns it?
I give you the price, we give the money to the city, and the city hasn't changed its pricing.
Okay.
So I've got two other checks on, I've got to get done.
So this is kind of a good to know thing that there's still people that can get in on a bundle right now thing.
It can get done, it may or may not count as sort of something that we can.
Well, I'll follow up with an email.
Okay, and then we'll give you the cards.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, I'm sorry, Floyd?
Yes, ma'am, I'm Lieutenant Floyd.
Oh, Lieutenant Floyd. Yes.
And, yeah, I apologize for being late. I'm bouncing from meeting to meeting, in the mayor's place, but, this is my first time here. So for those that don't know me, I am Lieutenant Floyd, the Evening Watch Commander, here in Zone 6. I supervise the officers that respond to 911 calls between the hours of 3 p.m. and 1 a.m. in the morning, okay? So, just so you know who I am. As far as crime, the biggest problem that we're dealing with in the Highland area is vehicle break-ins. It's just one of those nuisance type crimes that it's kind of hard. It's just really been a pain trying to keep under control. However, we're pushing the Clean Car campaign. I think that it's one of the key ways to fighting this type of crime, is to make sure that we don't give the criminals an opportunity to steal our belongings. And I know a lot of people say that I should be able to leave my phone charging in my car. It's my phone, it's my property. But a lot of property crimes are crimes of opportunity. And if you leave your iPad, iPod, cell phone in your car in plain view, especially in a high pedestrian traffic area, which the Highlands area is, the Little Five Points area is, somebody's probably gonna break the window and take it. So we're encouraging everybody to secure your valuables in your vehicle, especially during these holiday seasons. Also to be aware of your surroundings, and to Apple products, and to make sure that your Apple products, I know Apple is very popular, to make sure that you update your tracking software with Apple. Most of you guys with Apple have the Find My iPhone software, but I think there was a new software that came out, and it's been a very valuable tool for us and for the police department and law enforcement, because in the past week, we've been able to catch 2 robbery perpetrators, violent robbery where they pulled a gun out, just based off of the tracking of the phone. So this new, I think it's the OS 7 edition, this new tracking software, it gives a more accurate location of the device, and it does not allow the perpetrator to power the device off. It locks the phone where the power is still powered until the battery dies, and it gives a more accurate location. I mean, we've caught 2 violent perpetrators in the past 2 weeks. So if you don't have the software, if you haven't updated it to the most recent update, make sure that you do that. If you could spread the word, we'd appreciate it, because it's been a very valuable tool, like I said. I mean, it's been very, very helpful. Other than that, as far as the residential burglaries, you guys haven't had a lot of problems with residential burglaries. But we do encourage you to have alarms. I know since the new false alarm ordinance has come out, everybody's against the home alarms, but that's the #1 way to notify the police that somebody is in your house. It's through a burglar, it's through a home alarm. And I know, on one side, if you have a false alarm, the city's gonna find you. But I would hate to be that person that's out of town for an extended period of time, and the perpetrator has all day in your home to just go room to room, leave, come back and say, oh, these people still not at home, the doors are the same way I left it, so we're gonna go in again, and it's happening. It's happening. You know, one incident in particular is at Reynoldstown, when I was an officer in Zone 6. And it happened over the summertime, and the perpetrators were in the location